everyone, and Merry Christmas to all! Today is going to be one of those talky videos, and I'm hopefully I was thinking, because the last one went over pretty well, and I enjoyed doing it, so I was thinking about making this like not necessarily like a monthly type thing, but if I like doing it, maybe I'll do more of it in the future, and it'll be, if I had an idea of how many I would put out, probably about monthly. That'd be ideal. And really, like, the reason I wanted to do this because I had a lot of video ideas. I wanted to do something for Christmas, and there's a lot of other things I wanted to tackle that I wasn't able to make a video on. I have some updates about some social media things, and I really, because of the year ending, I feel bad because I can't like make a list or anything. I wanted to do something. So I kind of want to just do like a best of 2016 and like what I've experienced so far, right? And so since I can't do all those videos because I only have the capacity to do one, I thought, hey, let's all mesh it together and, you know, hopefully we'll get something out of it. And if you guys want this to become a series, just let me know. By the way, there's going to be a cat purring in the background very frequently, especially now as she gets closer to me. Just ignore that. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that. Goddamn. Anyway, so one thing I wanted to quickly notify you guys on is I have created a VidMe account. For those who don't know what VidMe is, it is a recent platform that has gotten a big boost. It's kind of a competitor to YouTube in a lot of ways. They're not nearly up to YouTube's level, but they're kind of becoming this like very discount like product version of YouTube, and the way YouTube's going, I could easily see, you know, them getting a big boost from that. And you know, we have creators like I Hate Everything and Your Movie Sucks, who those are the guys who introduced it to me. They moved over, or not moved over, but they're producing content for both, so you know, I hate the YouTube bullshit as much as the next guy, so I thought, hey, any more exposure I can get, that, you know, any more community I can foster, you know, the better. So I created an account on there. The link will be in the description. I'll probably be putting it in a lot of descriptions. And right now I'm just producing my backlog over there and seeing how people react to it over there. But, you know, stay tuned, because I've dropped, like, the past couple reviews, I've dropped it there first, because, again, it's less political issues. So, look out for that. And I know, like, the YouTube, like, algorithm bullshit and why everyone's jumping ship. You know, and YouTube as a whole is going down a little bit because it's losing a lot of eyeballs to Facebook and to you know, VidMe and Twitch, and there's just less people watching, and all the creators, like the Markipliers and the PewDiePies, the Fine Bros, have made, you know, videos that have made people a little bit concerned about YouTube just as a whole. And, you know, those creators will stop once they don't make the money they need to, and they'll start laying off people because they obviously have a lot of people who work for them. And once that happens, that means less content, that means less community. Does the algorithm change affect me? For those who don't know, the algorithm really, before the algorithm can even detect you, you have to make about 3,000 to 6,000 views on your video. That's when the algorithm even recognizes it. And my videos that have gone over that limit, not many. Right? So the algorithm change does not affect me at all. It just kind of like discourages me to make videos in the future when, you know, I'm less likely to make a career out of it. And the new algorithm, it features, you know, channels who can make daily content, quality content daily, and on top of that, longer videos. Stuff you know, although I probably upload a lot more than like people who make these mega art projects, making daily content by myself is unrealistic. The new content, or the new algorithm, really is just it's for studios. The new algorithm change, like, is for studios who can pump out videos, long videos, keep people's attention. This fucking cat, I am so sorry. She's the loudest cat I have ever met. But, what was I saying? I was talking about the algorithm. Yeah, all studios, the Comedy Centrals, the big studios, even the YouTube bred studios like Rooster Teeth, they all get boosts from this. And, you know, that's just the way YouTube wants to go, because studios can pump out more content, and because studios are better for marketing, studios are easier to contact, studios are reliable, studios are like television. And YouTube, if anything, seems to be moving in a television Netflix kind of route with its original movies and YouTube Red. Seems to be what they're going for. You know, that's kind of the complete opposite of YouTube's ideals, or if there was any, like, big... What is YouTube? The title of the website, YouTube. It says itself, but YouTube doesn't seem to actually give a shit about that. Which is upsetting, but at the same time, YouTube, I'm still extremely grateful to have a platform like this. And if that platform dies out because the competitors are smarter and actually providing its creators what it needs, I guess that's just the way it has to be. The creators will always survive, and will probably, you know, if they lose their jobs, you're gonna lose a lot of content. But if anything, I would prefer a version of YouTube where your channel, you owned, like, how it was made. Like, because YouTube back in the day, you could make your own layout and all that. I'm not saying I want that. I want a version where I get to decide so much more than, like, just how everyone else is. And I know that's not good for your average person just coming to the website for shits and giggles, but that's how I want. I want channels to be completely different, and every time I click on them, I'm, you know, surprised. And you could add rules and certain features if you want to. Just make them, and make them an option. And you can still do all the money how YouTube is. Because that'll never change. Another social media thing that I'm trying out is Symbol. Symbol is I'll also hopefully have a link for that in the description. But basically, it's kind of like your usual social media platform where it's like an endless stream of what your friends or whoever you're following is posting. Only they're only posting music, and they're talking about music and doing music community raised things. And I have to pet this cat because it's going to assault me if I don't. I would recommend Symbol if you're a music nerd obsessed guy like me, and I hoard music, so it's good for me whenever it's because I get to see someone I appreciate. Probably like a music reviewer, because so far that's the only people I've subscribed to. And I get to see what they're listening to, and I get to check that music out. And it's a very face-to-face interaction via music. And if that's something you'd be interested in, you can hopefully follow the link in the description, if I remember to put it in there. And I love these kind of analytical websites, or these websites that tender to my weird needs to put everything in lists and documents and my weird obsessions. Like, other websites you can already find me on are My Anime List, which is a website where you can see all the anime anyone has ever seen. It documents every anime. It has millions of reviews for it. It has all the background information for every anime ever, and you can basically tell it which ones you've seen, and it will make a list for you. It's fucking awesome. I love My Anime List, and I try to have websites like that for everything. If you like for movies, there's a site I recently discovered called Letterboxd. It's kind of like the same thing, where it has every movie ever, and it documents all of it, and has the notes and the information. And on top of that, you can tell it which one you've seen, and it'll tell you all the movies you've ever seen. You know, obviously, it's hard for me to remember every movie I've ever seen, because there are hundreds. But, you know, so far I have like a little less than 600 movies. Probably if I remembered them, it would amount to like 600, which is pretty fucking cool. Still not nearly as many as I would want to see, but, you know, it's whatever. This is kind of turning into an update video, but, you know, while I am updating, one other thing, for those who don't know, I've said this enough times, I feel bored re-saying it, but I am coming up on 100 reviews, and I wanted to experiment with my style and just a lot of things in general with my content, and even, you know, because I have two channels, one where I get way more experimental, and I also do shit posts, and the main one. So, and I, you know, may start future channels or whatever down the line. I don't want to create more, like, effort on my part, because I'm already, like, spending all my free time into YouTube. So I don't want to, like, dilute my free time any more than I have to. But basically, the point I'm trying to get across is I want to make different content, even on the main channel. I'm gonna have it so my first 100 reviews are, for the most part, my certain style, the style that from episode 1 started as one thing and it evolved into probably my classic format by episode 100. And from now on, I just want to make every review different styles, and if there's like a classic thing that I do, that'll be my like straight up format, but I want it to go all over the place for every review. I want to do the thumbnails different, I want to do the titles different. I've already started to do that with a couple of reviews that are the post 100. So there's gonna be post 100 Solshow, and you know, my last video, which was something I normally do on my second channel, is basically me reacting to the 100 most popular songs of the year. You know, that was different, and immediately, you know, got the hundreds of views and stuff, which for my content is spectacular. And I knew it would get that, and I was like, it presents an option, like if it's something people would be interested in, and for the most part, the views easily, you know, would tell me if you can produce this more often, you'll, you know, have more success. However, on the same flip side, the community for that video was dead. There was just as much dislikes as there were likes, and there weren't many comments. And there were hate comments that I deleted. And my philosophy on comments are, for the most part, because I know some people think deleting comments is like this terrible thing, and I'm gonna make its own video. If you think deleting comments is like against the freedom of speech and it's cowardly. First off, the free speech thing is, you know, this is my platform, I've created it, I kind of have the right to do whatever I want with it, which I know is kind of not the best argument. But it's kind of like if someone went onto your Facebook page and you got a notification, it tells you this person commented, and you say something that doesn't really, you don't belong there, you're out of this community, and you say something like, let's say I had this artsy photo of me like doing something ironic. Let's say I have a photo of me standing in fucking Italy, and I say, man, I love Washington, D.C., and that's the joke. And you're out of this community and don't know that I only post jokes, and you say, Washington, D.C. isn't in Italy, your comment is useless. And why you don't, you're in my community, I have the right to delete it. So usually, normally I'm pretty, like, lenient. I don't really give a shit if you don't like my things. The two comments that I got were someone was like, I don't like what you said about Selena Gomez, and so I'm gonna leave a dislike. Bye. And I don't have a problem with you saying you don't like something, but I always want to, like, if you don't say why, then your comment is useless. If you don't say why you don't like this part of the video, your comment is useless to me. And normally, if I had like tons of comments, I'd probably just let those go. But since my community is pretty small, and if a small part of that community can be scrapped out for a better community, then damn right, yeah, I'll get rid of that. And the other comment was just a troll comment saying, because I was like, hope you guys like the video, and the comment was, we didn't like the video, ugly ass motherfucker. And it was misspelled like that. So I was like, motherfucker. So I was like, that's a useless comment, that can go. That's usually my philosophy on that. And, you know, I know for different communities it's completely different, and I understand when people, if you put an idea out there, you should be able to be criticized. I don't close off the comment sections. I just evaluate them and think, if they're useless to this conversation, and I have the ability to block them, then I don't see why I shouldn't. And I go lenient. A lot of the times when people post shit comments, I usually just respond back, and if they're trolling me, I troll them back. And it's a fun world! But that's just the way it is. Hey kitty, you really, like, this cat, cause I film, currently I'm living in my girlfriend's house, and I'm not able to film here, or record here, or whatever. Which is fine until I get my new place. The only problem about recording here is there's always other people here, and there's always this fucking cat that will not leave me alone. Every second I am awake, this cat is around me making noises. I'll be playing a video game on the computer, and it will jump into my arms, and it will just start purring this sound. It is ridiculous. And if I lock it in the bathroom, which I feel terrible doing, then it's gonna make worse noises, and you all will think I'm locking a bathroom in the background, and it'll sound awful. I'll sound like a cat torturer. If I put it outside of the room, then its hair is gonna get everywhere, and other people who live here are allergic to cats will be upset with me, and I don't want to do that. So that's my reality at the moment. Oh god, this got completely off tangent. What are we at? We're at 18 minutes about? I guess I'll get my final thing I wanted to get across, which was my 2016 best of reaction thing. Because this year, I think most people will agree, was pretty shitty. I think people throughout the year thought this year was pretty shitty. I remember videos about it way back. That's not only because this ever-growing general sense that life is shitty, the number of celebrity deaths, which again, it's only a couple people who died, but those people mattered to a lot of people. Their perception is sad. And I made my own video about when Prince died, and I was very upset by that. My mom cried. Celebrity deaths do matter, and the fact that there were a lot of them this year is not something to be happy about. And on top of that, there was an election year. I got to sit through the worst conversations of my life via this election. And, you know, personally, I had probably the worst summer of my life, where I went through a breakup, and when I was overworked a lot, and other personal matters. And I was living in my car, so none of that was fun. But the ending of my year, the past 4 months have been pretty great, and I'm much happier at this point in time. So, 2016, a lot of ups, many more downs, I would say, but this has nothing to do with the entertainment that came out this year, which was what I wanted to cover. I would do, like, the best books that came out this year. I don't really read nearly as much as I want to, which is upsetting because I do want to become a writer when I grow up. In the future. That's just something I want to do. And if you want to become a writer, if you make YouTube videos even, that's writing. And unless you're just kind of like a podcaster or something where you're just kind of talking and it's 100% you, I would recommend reading. Reading improves your writing. You probably read, like, even when you're online, you're technically reading, but you're not indulging in reading when you're online. So I would recommend reading if you write scripts even on YouTube. It'll help you out a lot. And I'm not an expert or anything, but I just know the basics, and that's a basic that you need to read a lot in order to write better. Another thing, I would do the best anime that came out this year. Although I've watched very few anime that came out this year, or just TV shows in general. For the most part, there's so much there within the world of entertainment that I just went back on older shows. And I've reviewed most of them, so it's not really a point in reiterating those opinions here. But the three things I wanted to go across were, or just the two really, were movies and video games that came out this year. And even that, for video games, I only played a couple games this year. I don't think I finished more than 2 or 3, which is ridiculous. But I want to look back on this video and just be like, oh yeah, that's what came out this year. Or that year, I should say. And so for video games, we had Overwatch. We had, what came out? Other games. We had The Last Guardian, which, oh, I want to play that desperately. Pokemon Sun and Moon, Doom, Dishonored 2, Uncharted 4, XCOM 2, Dark Souls 3. And it was a pretty shit year in games. And as far also music that came out this year, I could probably make a better list of that, but I don't like to dissect my opinions on music until I review it. I kind of just like to enjoy and experience it, unless I'm making a review for it. Hey kitty, you're just being so loud. I don't know if I should put background music in this, because this cat will just be in a washing machine as my voice and music, and that might be disrupting more than it already is, but I don't know. But for games, I don't have a game of the year because I don't even have a top 5, which is kind of sad. But this game, watching other people who consume all the video games every year and seeing their reactions, and just looking at the product line, this wasn't a good year for video games. And I'm not trying to underestimate like Overwatch and Dark Souls 3 and those games that I probably won't play for a while. But there's usually, like, I remember years like 2013 where it was like Last of Us, GTA 5, or what else came out? BioShock Infinite. Any of those games I think would have won this year's Game of the Year over its competitors. And on top of that, there's the ever-growing, there are these new consoles. This console generation was such a sleeper so far. It's very disheartening to see where gaming's going. On top of the already DLC bullshit, certain companies go out of business. It's sad, really. But VR is probably the big one up that's like, gaming is evolving. And even if it has a slow year, gaming will always. That's really the only entertainment medium that's moving forward, easily has like boundaries to break the roof for, whereas movies and all the other forms of entertainment will never really. They'll plateau at best. There's not going to be a new way to watch movies in the near future, like there is with games. I'm completely off topic. I just want to talk about the 2 games I played this year, which were Final Fantasy 15 and Pokemon Go. Final Fantasy 15, I haven't beaten. I'm like 15 hours into it. I'm on chapter 3. It's so great, and I don't want to spoil too much of my opinions because I plan to make a review hopefully when I do finish it 100 hours later. And I enjoy it. I'm completely indulged in it. Usually with video games, I have the sense of I just want to get through it. But then there are those games that just say, fuck you, play this game how it's meant to be played. And I love it whenever I get to do that. I don't like the characters or the story all that much. But I love being in this world. I love doing these bullshit missions. I love riding in a car on autopilot. I love playing a game on autopilot. And I just love that style. And it's a very, I could see a lot of people hating it, and I don't know many people's reviews or reactions for it yet, but we'll see when more people start finishing it. As for Pokemon Go, that would probably be my game of the year, considering its low amount of competitors. But it's another game where I lost myself and I still play it. I still check it at least once a day, and there's such a strong community for that game still, even months after its giant peak that had the whole world paying attention to it. And even now, like, I get excited when I see a Pokemon I haven't caught, or it's just a fun game. I could make 10 videos on Pokemon Go. But I'm getting off topic. That's my year for games so far, which was pretty upsetting. Movies that came out this year. I did go to the cinemas a pretty good amount. I'm only going to talk about the main movies I saw that I liked, but, shout outs to a lot of them. But the main ones, this would probably be my top 5 so far. Kung Fu Panda 3, although I don't remember that one that much. I'm kind of putting it there because I think I liked it that much. But I struggle to remember all the little details of that movie. So just out of assumption, I'm going to put it in the top 5. The other ones were Deadpool, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and Moana. And maybe Rogue One? I saw Rogue One a day or two ago. Or not a day, like maybe 3 or 4 days ago. And I had a good time with it. So this year in movies, I thought, I thought it was pretty good. We had, Deadpool, amazing comic book movie. We had, movies like Doctor Strange, and movies like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad. That's really upsetting that those didn't do as good as people wanted to. But that's just one division of the movies. There's always going to be those indie hits. There's going to be those big Oscar movies. There's going to be those superhero movies. And they all came out this year, and they weren't nearly as bad as they could have been. Although I still have yet to watch the other several hundred movies that came out this year, so bear with me. Moana, I fucking love Moana. It's probably one of my favorite Disney movies. I'd probably put it in the Hall of Fame. I love the shit out of it. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do a review for it because I watched it and I didn't write a script. And that's not, super uncommon. I need that spark if I'm going to do a review for it. But, I love that movie. 10 Cloverfield Lane, I have a review for it. I love that movie. I gave it like a 9 out of 10. It was just a fascinating epic. And I would recommend it to most people, especially if you like that style of filmmaking. And that was that year for movies for me. 2016, again, not a great year, but don't ever discount a whole year's worth of content. Because there's always going to be gems, and there's always going to be, kind of these, like, light favorites, like these 8 out of 10s that you should never discount. And from the years to come, I'll be like, oh yeah, that came out in 2016. Maybe I was wrong when I made that video. Completely shitting on it. I don't know. I'm not the most, I never want to, when I make my videos, I never want to appear like I know everything, because I know with a lot of YouTubers, they kind of like appear as this person who's like incredibly self-aware, incredibly intelligent, like they have the whole world figured out, and you have to remember people are complex, and in that complexity, they're probably not nearly as great as you think they are. Go read John Green's Paper Towns, which I'm going to do a review for. That's the idea of the movie and book. But yeah, I have reviews coming for the book and the movie. Spoiler alert. Yeah, so that's everything I wanted to talk about. Go check me out on VidMe. Check me out on Symbol. Those were my favorites out of 2016. Should I make this a series? I don't know. Do you hate the YouTube algorithm? Just let me know, guys. Also, Merry Christmas. It's not Christmas for me yet, but it should be by the time this comes out. Let me know, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And with that, I leave you. Here, kitty. Here, I can pet you now. I'm sorry, I've neglected you. Anyway, yeah, take care. Boy.